Hello, hello. We are back again for another Isaac Daily. Yesterday's daily was pretty good. Um, I was gonna do the Xbox one, but I decided to do just one floor and then just quit since I don't have to necessarily complete. Excuse me. Got a bit of water in my throat. I don't have to necessarily complete the runs, especially win the runs, because I've already got the cracked crown, and all three of my accounts are save files for the Xbox. So, I mean, I could play casually like I'm doing now, but I want to get some surprises in, so to speak. I was doing for a while prior to getting the last cracked crown, seeing what kind of stuff is going on with the daily, seeing if it's good for like the streak or something for getting that item, and a lot of the times it wasn't. And now that that's out of the way, I'm not really looking at it anymore. So, let's see here. Let's try. Maybe? No. Okay. So I decided, go against, whatever to just go on this blindly. I think it's more fun that way, because you probably notice in the videos, it's like I'm predicting, and we're not predicting. I know what to avoid, what not to avoid because of this and that. So, so this second floor is going to be new to me, completely, of course. So we'll take this because our brimstone does not get impacted by marked. So those rare exceptions there. Okay. Sticky nickel. I read somewhere that all the nickels are gonna be ended up sticky or something like that for the new Repentance update. Hopefully not. And they're fixing some of the breaks in the game, which is kind of unfortunate, but trying to go back to the old Flash Isaac era. Got some hiccups now. That's a nice, let's see, what day is it? Sunday? Yeah, Sunday morning. It's nice and sunny out. Looks like looks like it might be, clear skies. So we're going all the way to Mega Satan. I'm taking pills just because. We did get that Tears upgrade, so that'll help us. Let's see here. I think the secret room might be here. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. You know what? Let's try this. See what we get here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, we tried. I'm going to hold on to this. I mean, this could be like a bad thing if we press the wrong button. What to talk about? Let's see. Well, I decided last night because it was getting kind of late and stuff, and I had other things to do. couldn't really get around to do some cleaning and stuff, some additional cleaning. Wait, did we get it? Oh yeah, we got multi-dimensional, baby, didn't we? Or something. I don't know. We got something. Just completely phased me. Okay. I think that's it. Really? For items. In this floor. Let's see. And more nickels, huh? Alright, you're coming with me, because I might be able to use sacrificial altar in the future. Get rid of you. I think you work for that. Alright, let's see here. Tiny planet, huh? So that won't do. Oh, that's a range upgrade, huh? I mean, it won't do any harm for us, really. It's gonna be like that. Unless we get the Dark Judas, and then we're gonna have to deal with that in Marked. So, probably be less reluctant to roll with him, unless maybe we get a reroll. You know what I should get into again is books. I'm more in the lines of like non-fiction as opposed to, I don't know what that was. As opposed to what? Okay, yeah. So multi-dimensional babies making our tiers a little wacky, I think. And Fate's Reward, I guess that just works that way. I'm gonna take this. Increase our odds for black hearts. Yeah, going back with books, like I'm more in the lines of fiction than non-fiction. Not fiction. I'm more in the lines of non-fiction as opposed to fiction. Used to be, of course, when you're a kid, you're more indulged to read more, children's books, imagination and stuff like that. It's a critical thing for a child. Let's see, what do we get here? I think we get some money. No, we get food. Okay, cool. And build those kind of critical skills, so to speak. And we'll just take this. But as an adult, I mean, you can use it as leisure entertainment. I mean, it's based on preference. Like, you're not me. I guess. I'm not you. But I'm more in the lines of learning stuff, I guess. Maybe not so much with history, but more like in the lines of like, I don't know, some psychology and sociology and maybe a little bit of philosophy like stuff. Oh, yeah, a little bit of science, I guess, behind that too. And I've mentioned in the previous video, one of my previous videos, about a book I read about, it kind of ties with child development somewhat, and it became a very popular book over the years. Mainly because, like, there was a lot of research involved with do's and don'ts with infants and how to fuel their development phases. And excuse me. And it's really an eye opener though, because like a lot of parents, they try to do their best with the children, but then it's like they're usually what happens sometimes. Most cases, well, I don't know about most cases, but a lot of cases, um, they're not and their fullest potential because of just various things with how there wasn't properly like handled. So I just read books like that, I guess. Uh, and then I've read, of course, I've read 48 Laws of Power. I've read, well, I was starting to read The Art of Seduction from the same author. And the interesting thing about, hold on a second here. Gotta get some water. There we go. The thing about that book is, the book series is it teaches a lot of like human psychology and how you can like, invert it to your own advantages. Not invert it, but like more in the sense of gaining an upper hand in certain things in life. And while that may sound like, oh, that's manipulation, well, like everybody does it, that's the thing. Whether they're consciously knowing that they're doing it or not. And everybody just wants the big piece of the pie, in the end. Whether they walk over you, walk on you, or throw you under the bus, it doesn't matter. Everybody gets thrown under the bus to some degree in some manner. And what's interesting about like these two books, is they're banned in prisons and jails because of like how highly like popular that stuff is, and they're afraid that prisoners and stuff can use that advantage with guards or whoever else to like get through the system to do even more damage. Well, potential damage. Not saying more damage because I'm not sure if they've correlated between. I don't know if they found a correlation between like outbreaks of violence and stuff like that in the books. That also reminds me of a thing I read about, and I looked into it a little bit because I used to read it when I was a kid, which was the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books. I seen the movie. It isn't really that great. It was okay. But the thing that was interesting was, well, what was really interesting with the books, like I don't think you can get the the newer copies anymore with the actual original illustrations because of I don't know if it's just a copyright thing or I think it's more in the lines of just how like horrific it looks or something. I don't know. Because I guess originally, from what I read somewhere, that the books got a reface with the illustrations in the later years, and people revolted and they supposedly reverted. But I don't know if they fully did that or not. And I guess back in like, I guess the books came out in the 80s. Um, so like around that time and through like part of the 90s, there was this revolt with these parents talking about these highly graphic illustrations and the horrific stories and stuff like that with them. And they wanted to ban them. Of course, you know, parents just kept wanting to ban all sorts of stuff over the years. It's like some kind of a footloose thing going on, only for books. Certain books. There was just quite a few, I guess, over the decades about like, oh, it's got this going on, such controversy. Da, da, da. Now, I do believe truly that children are very vulnerable when it comes to like being influenced like that. I mean, they are. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, there's science behind that. But of course, these parents, they don't have that scientific understanding and stuff, or behavioral psychology understanding or anything to how high, you know, it being truly, you know, influential. They just think it's just, you know, influential issues in general. Um, so I can understand that kind of part of a thing, but then there's been extreme cases where it's like, I mean, they made a movie, the original Footloose, and I don't know if that just kind of like commentates on the issues back then with like say um, well there was this kind of like this push against rock and roll and stuff because of the lyrics and it's like erratic tunes on guitars and stuff like that. Of course stuff today is like far worse. Do we have copy? No, we got one more to go. And there's been kind of an ease more now these days to where there's been more and more reluctance to like get away from that. It's more in lines of pushing for it to some degree, to some cultures, to some whatever. It kind of varies from person, of course. Um, like when I was a kid, I used to listen, well, in school, I used to listen to our teacher read us Harry Potter. I forgot which one it was. It might have been the first one or the second one at the time. And then we also were listening to a audio cassette tape of the of one of the books. And my mom, she didn't like the idea that we were like, well, us kids listening to and being read a you know, a children's book about like witchcraft and stuff like that and being satanic and stuff. And I think after a bit of time she allowed it and we continued listening and everything. And then eventually she kind of got into it, really. Got into Harry Potter. I mean, she didn't read the books or anything, so she wasn't too dedicated because of her job and stuff. But she seemed like it seemed like she was more in the lines of watching the movies. I mean, heck, my grandmother like watched every single one of those, and she just loved the films. And she was like in her 90s. And she appreciates stuff like that too. Um, and it was just weird, kind of seeing a little bit of that kind of perspective. Um, and what else? Like, well, when I was younger too, I used to read the Boxcar Children's series, which I guess the books were from like the 60s. And I'm just like, this is just like, a few decades at least um, before my time. So like the whole culture and stuff was like vastly different. So like the Boxcar Children's series, it has to do with these children. So I read the first book. So the first book kind of gets you into like canon of like how this all kind of started, so to speak. And so the Boxcar Children, what it's about, obviously it's a boxcar with children, and they find this abandoned boxcar, and I'm trying to remember the details. So they found this abandoned boxcar. I forgot like how they found it, but I think they found it in the woods. It was derailed or something from long ago, and the children found. I think they found some cool stuff in there too, and so they kind of set up like a little clubhouse thing there, and that was their meeting ground too, was the boxcar. Now, why in the world would Godhead be just randomly there? Is that like a rare thing? Because we didn't take Chaos. Wait a minute, did we take? I think we did take Chaos, didn't we? Yeah, we did. I wasn't paying attention. Wow, I mean, GG, I guess. Let's see. Um, so they, I'm trying to remember what they did. So like they used that as a meeting ground to go to this boxcar, and they would I guess they hang out, and like they have different books in the series, so like they have different stuff with different adventures and what they did. I cannot remember the kids' names for the life of me. It's been such a long time, but like and what they did and what perks they had and stuff. I guess some game character. Um, but yeah, like I enjoyed the series, and the funny thing was like around that time, we were learning about the opposite, about not getting around trains, especially like abandoned train cars, and not go in there because you could get stuck in there for the rest of your life, or suffocate or something, or never be found again. Just kind of like had that kind of like idea set in mind when we were just kids. And at this point, I think we're fine with that. I think we use this as mapping for that's the Curse of the Lost stuff going on. But yeah, like we learned a lot about railroad safety, about not chucking stuff at like trains either. I mean, it's a big deal when they have to teach you that too. Or putting stuff on the tracks. But you know what? I think that's a kind of a good thing to learn. Because oftentimes, especially in that town, there's not so great parents that like supervise their kids completely. And we had quite a few like railroad tracks all over town, particularly the downtown, mostly, of course. Um, I don't know if they teach that anymore. Like we definitely didn't learn it after grade school. I think it's meant for grade school. Maybe they didn't have the funding. It's kind of like in grade school for a couple of years, there was, for me, of course, There was the DARE program, which is the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program. I still remember that. And then there was another one, another variation called the GREAT program. I was in. I can't remember what that stands for, but it's basically the same program but under a different name. You know what? We could just like skip these floors. We might even go to Hush. Maybe. And I might just entertain that idea because we get some items and shops and stuff. Might as well. And it was a weird time back then because, like, when I was little, we had to write this paper. And I forgot the paper's, like, topic. I forgot, like, we were required to write it as part of our DARE graduation thing. And I mean, I definitely know it had to be something drugs related or anti-drug related. And okay, I think we push for Hush. It's gonna suck if we like lose all our health, but it is what it is. And you know what? I just realized we dropped our suicide key a long time ago here. Okay, so health is nice. That's a start. Magician, okay. Okay, drowsy helps. Oh, I guess we also do have that. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. We need some offense here. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, range is nice. Smart fly is nice. Once we get hit, it'll go after him. Smart fly is more useful than more useful than oh, what was it? Cheese. Like Meat Boy. See, we'll pop this. So occasionally, like when I go in the largest cities, sometimes I run into some weird person, like asking me if I want some marijuana or buy some marijuana or something weird. Of course, I don't smoke or anything or do any of that, but I would like say to them, it's like, no thanks, I'm a DARE student, sarcastically. And I just find it hilarious. I found out, like, you know, years later, of course, it's like virtually anything could be a drug. Anything. Working at your job constantly without breaks. That's an addiction. That's a drug. You know, drinking coffee, that's a drug. That's caffeine. Soda. Eating junk food. Anything could be a drug. You put your mind to it, kids. No, I'm not advertising you kids. Stay in school, kids. See what other books I've read. I mean, I can remember some more children books, I guess, when I was little. Let's see. So I remember reading The Giving Tree, and that was pretty dark. It had a good message. Dark in the sense of like what the message brings, but it's also like the harsh reality. And so I've read that. I read The Sidewalk Ends. This is like Silverstein. Yeah. It's been a blur, jeez. Because like I read so many books back then when I was in grade school because I was in the Scholastics program. And I was also in another program for my local library. And so like back then, when you hit a certain threshold, and like how many books you read, I mean they can't verify it, of course, but for me, I was being very honest. um, I would I would just mark them down once I read them and check out book after book after book. One one season, I remembered reading 150 children's books. I don't know, it was like for a year or for the summer, something like that. It was crazy. And a lot of them are not really like these small books. They're fairly, decent size. It wasn't like some kind of, you know, um, pop-up book or a picture book without words. Nothing like that. It had words, definitely. And we might die here. There we go. Man, that was close. Get that old Hushy bonus. Let's see. I mean, I am definitely not going through Delirium. That'd be kind of a nightmare. Okay, we're just gonna go on through here. Hopefully not die. But like they had all sorts of cool like stuff you can get out of it. Like you read enough, you get like pizza from like sometimes it was like Pizza Hut, sometimes it was like a Mazio's thing or something. Um, and at the time, I think it might even been Godfather Pizza too. But that franchise didn't last long in the town, of course. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Let's see. I mean, we don't quite have the health. I mean, we could probably make it, but I think we should just go around and explore a little bit here. Because we've got the damage and we've got the speed, the need for speed. I think I was pretty fortunate as a kid to have like a variety of books to read in school. And then I do like the idea of creating this incentive for kids to go out and just find books to read. Let's see. Actually, we can use that temperance and didn't mean to take damage there. Because I think if we blow it up, we get an extra item. No. No? Well, that's unfortunate. I guess that only works for the chest, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I do like the incentive that they give. To have children become more literate. So I've known some people who are just bad with that kind of stuff, and this is coming from like us. Now here's a trick you probably don't know. So like these dailies, sometimes when you go in the dark room, they got these kind of rooms. You dig? Oh, hello there, Sonny. I don't want you. Two champion mega fatties, huh? Okay. But yeah, going back with that thing, like I've known kids who didn't get far in school because of limitations. But like, I think after grade school, I wasn't doing as much reading for like, entertainment's sake. And I think I was pretty much past that point of the scholastics, like, age requirements. And yeah. I think at that point, you know, I was just becoming more and more distant with you know, reading and stuff. I did some reading, but it wasn't as much as, you know, grade school and stuff. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, because, like, you don't want to, like, push the scholastics things all the way to, like, you know, high school, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have, like, much to say with how you address, you know, retention for readers, other than stick with it. I did some reading in the later years of other Harry Potter books, but then of course, as those Harry Potter books keep become, you know, as I was becoming closer and closer to the end, I noticed the quality was just becoming like less and less entertaining. I got really bored with Order of the Phoenix. That was just a dry read. I didn't even finish Half Blood Prince, but I did do oh, what is it called? Jeez, Deathly Hollows. And now they have I mean, they had a book for the last few years, The Cursed Child, which I have not read. I might consider it. I think it's a fairly short read, from my understanding, because it's set up more as a play kind of prose, as opposed to, like, you know, standard novel. It's meant for a play. So we got some decent damage, a few transformations here, and we even fought Hush. Wasn't quick enough necessarily to fight Boss Rush, but you know. I think Chaos is what, like, kind of popped things off, so I think it's a good thing we took that. Oh, why are you fast? Well, now you're slowed down. Actually, if we're fast and we are slowing down, does that mean we're in normal speed? Looks like we're just kind of slow still, so that's nice. It cancels that. Oh boy, yeah, this is gonna be a nightmare. If we die, there we go, we did it. That was a close one. A penny for our winnings. I mean, it's to be expected with a score in time, of course, with that kind of run. People probably found a lot of breaks and they didn't take as much damage, they didn't take as many items, yada yada. Overall, that was a pretty good run. If you guys like it, just like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.